Hey, I'm Randy, and you're watching The Cheap Audio Man. What if I told you there's a speaker that's less than $200 that's probably the most versatile speaker that one could get for music, for home theater? Would you be surprised? Is it a mystery? Does it even exist? All this and more. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about this mythical speaker. Big shout out to today's sponsor, Sith Audio Tweezers. You working on a new electronics project where there's little resistors and things like that? You don't want to push them around improperly? Get yourself some Sith Audio Tweezers. Errant nose hair. Listen, as audiophiles, statistically speaking, you're old. When you're old, sometimes you need a little help in your nostril and your ear areas because there's a lot of hair. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I have a bunch of ear and nose hairs all the time. When you get a Sith Audio audiophile tweezers, though, you can rip those out in an audiophile manner. 5, 6, 10 at a time. It's okay. Just close your eyes like this, clench your teeth, and rip. Sith Audio audiophile tweezers guaranteed to cause more pain when you rip out those nose and ear hairs. Available for $999.99. No, actually, it's $139.99. Sith Audio audiophile tweezers. My apologies. Looks like the camera was a little bit askew in the first few in the intro. Must have been really annoying. I'm sorry. I apologize. Again, I'm not very good at this. This speaker that I'm holding in my hand off camera is a speaker that I've owned for a long time. I think going on maybe even 10 years. Still sold today. Still made today. Which is a testament to this speaker's longevity and usefulness. The speaker can be used in near-field situations or applications, like a desktop application, maybe even in a small 2-channel setup in a den, in a kitchen, or things like that. It's not a powered speaker. It's a traditional, good old-fashioned passive speaker, which means you need an amplifier for it. But more importantly, this speaker has extreme utility when it comes to home theater. It can be an Atmos speaker. It can be a height speaker. It can be a side speaker. It can be a surround speaker. All for under $200. Actually, this thing used to be, like, I think when I bought it, it was like $120. It's $179 now. Okay, so enough of the teasing. What is it? It's the Polk OWM3. Yeah, this is a two-way sealed speaker. Kind of in a plasticky polycarb, whatever they want to call it. Anyway, it's not wood. It's not MDF. So what one gets is a 1-inch silk dome tweeter. I think a 4.5-inch. That's right, 4.5-inch dynamic balance woofer, polypropylene cone woofer. The sensitivity is actually really high at 89 dB sensitivity. So this is not going to take a lot of power. So that is really good, especially if it's being used for height, rear channels, Dolby Atmos channels, which that's what I use them for, Dolby Atmos. What? This can't be a Dolby Atmos speaker. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. It has a nominal impedance of 8 ohms, and it has binding posts there on the bottom, and a little cutout, okay? So here's the deal. What's on the back? On the back! This is there. The speaker has a ton of utility and can be used in a variety of applications. Okay, so if we're looking at the back, there you see the binding posts. Up there you see a cutout. Well, that cutout is for the speaker cable, okay? Now you can see keyhole right here, keyhole, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, you put screws in the wall and then you hang it on here, okay? So you can hang it literally, how would it go? All right. You can hang it like this, which would be kind of like a height speaker, all right? And on the back here, you have more keyhole hangers and one of those traditional style speaker things. So I have a bunch of these things that go on the wall. You can find them anywhere. Now that they're so commonplace, they're a couple bucks a piece. I'll see if I can find a listing and I'll link them on Amazon. But I used to have the Bose Acoustimass system. So if you have smaller surround satellite speakers, things like that, there's these little hangers and they have a post, and that post gets threaded right into here. And then you can angle these however you want to angle them. So really 3 ways to get these mounted to the wall. I have used these in 3 different applications. So currently I'm using them as Dolby Atmos upward firing speakers. What I do is this angle right here is not quite steep enough to be like kind of a bouncy. So what I do is I just affix something here and kind of lean it like this. It works. It even works in my living room, and I have 20-foot ceilings in there. Actually, it works really well because I'm kind of also getting a surround vibe too, because these have a very wide dispersion. So they're kind of almost tailor-made for surround speakers or Dolby Atmos speakers or something like that. And I know people are probably going to argue that maybe Dolby Atmos speakers should be more directional. I don't know. I don't care. Listen, I've used this in just about every home theater system I've ever had as either a height or Dolby or surround speaker. And it's fantastic. Love the shape. I love the design. I love that it's, well, made out of plastic. I never thought I would say I love a speaker made out of plastic. Now, this does come with a little kind of base that you can move things around. I have them somewhere. Obviously, I don't use them very much because I don't know where they're at. I've always used these right on the wall. And since it's a sealed enclosure, it's perfect for being right on the wall. Let's talk about their frequency response. To Polk's credit, they rated these fairly. These are rated from 100 hertz on the bottom end up to 22,000 hertz. What does that mean? You're going to need to cross these over. And if you're using these just for music, they're going to be a little bit thin. Ironically, though, just for music on a desktop, these don't really sound much different than like the Edifier R1700 BT. And those supposedly go down to 50-some hertz. These sound about as deep as that. So what I'm saying is the Edifier's lying. Polk's telling the truth. 100 hertz. Okay, so you're going to need to cross the sub over. You're going to need to cross these over because they're not going to go boom, boom down on the bottom. They're going to be pretty thin. However, they are crystal clear. I mean crystalline. So for bullets, for rain, even for voices, because these things do dialogue very, 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 very well. This is going to be a great speaker, mostly in a home theater application. So this is like a home theater guru for under $200. Probably not for a left, a center, or a right speaker. Everything else, you could totally get 5 of these. Well, you'd have to buy 3 pairs. One as your center, one as your right, one as your left speaker. You're just gonna need a subwoofer. Cross everything over about 110. Probably wouldn't be bad at all. I mean, I would rather have 5 of these in a subwoofer than the Acoustimass from Bose. You can get away with that. So, but these are quality. I mean, there is so much detail that comes through these things. And I was using them the other day, again, because I always do. And I thought, nobody's talking about these. Because this speaker's really long in the tooth. I mean, this speaker has been around for a while. But since they have so much utility, I needed to talk about them. Because if someone's putting together a home theater and you need to put something in the corner of your ceiling, or height speakers, or surround speakers on the wall, or Atmos speakers, these things are awesome. How do they sound? As I said before, very clear, tilted on the top end, not warm in the least. Have a bit of bass presence and a little bit of punch, but this thing is kind of like a dialogue monster. So it's going to be very clear in the mids. I would assume a frequency response would maybe be tilted towards the top end, maybe a bump around 2000. In a near field situation without a sub, these could probably get fatiguing fairly quickly. That's probably a good thing for movies though. So if you're running these near field on a desktop, I would bring that treble down just a little bit. Or if you have an EQ, bring that 2K down just a little bit. And then you can bring up the bass, but I mean, since it goes down to 100 hertz, you're gonna really have to be cranking that bass up to get any boominess out of it. I'll just roll final thoughts right into this. I think this speaker is absolutely unrivaled for what it is. And what this speaker is kind of a Swiss Army knife for home theater. It can do it all. And if you have a decent sub that can go up and play comfortably around 120 hertz or whatever, you can get away with a whole set of these. Personally, I think they shine as height speakers, as Dolby Atmos speakers, as side speakers, and as surround speakers. Tailor-made, they fit right on a wall in a variety of applications. So this is one of those 10 out of 10 speakers, not particularly for like how it sounds, but really from mid-range up, this thing is spectacular. It just doesn't have a lot of bass, and it says as much. It doesn't claim to have a lot of bass. Small, awesome, perfect. So if you're putting together a home theater, you have your LCR, your left, your center, your right speakers picked out, but you're scratching your head and wondering, what should I do? What should I do for height speakers or Dolby speakers or whatever it is? Well, your question may be answered with the Polk OMW3. I've had these for like a decade, and I still can't remember their model number. The Polk OMW3. There it is, right there. So if you want to support the channel, you can use my affiliate links or not use my affiliate links. They're in the description. If you click and you buy, I get a commission, but it doesn't cost you any more. So it's a great way to support the channel. You can also use the thanks button right down by the share button. Click on it, give me a couple bucks, buy me a cup of coffee, but don't feel compelled to buy me anything. You can also join Patreon. Patreon only Zooms, patron only Discord, patron only Facebook group. You can also buy some merchandise. This isn't one of my coffee mugs, but I do have coffee mugs. So don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu unless you installed a few of these and you're listening to rain or helicopters fly over your head. Binge listen and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the cheap audio man.